Imagine standing in a massive stone ring, surrounded by 50,000 screaming fans. The air is thick with the smell of dust, sweat, and blood. Below your feet, the ground trembles as massive trapdoors spring open, releasing lions, tigers, or a man armed with a razor-sharp sword. This was not a dream. It was a Tuesday afternoon in ancient Rome. The Colosseum, officially known as the Flavian Amphitheatre, remains the most iconic symbol of Roman power and cruelty. But what was the true story behind the blood-soaked sand of this arena? Today, we're going beneath the myths to uncover the real life and death of the Roman gladiators. Construction of the Colosseum began around 72 AD under Emperor Vespasian and was completed by his son, Titus, in 80 AD. It was built using the spoils of war from the siege of Jerusalem and was designed to be the ultimate entertainment venue. To the Romans, these games were a way for the emperor to show his wealth and keep the public happy, a policy known as bread and circuses. The building itself was a miracle of engineering, featuring 80 entrances, a massive retractable awning to provide shade, and a complex underground system of tunnels and elevators known as the Hypogeum. But the heart of the Colosseum was the gladiators. Contrary to popular belief, gladiators weren't just random slaves thrown into a pit to die. They were highly trained professionals, often compared to modern-day prize-fighters. Most were indeed slaves or prisoners of war, but some were free men who joined for the glory and the prize money. They lived and trained in specialized schools called ludi, under the watchful eye of a manager known as a lanista. They were fed a high-energy diet of grains and beans, earning them the nickname horderi, or barley men. A typical day at the Colosseum was a carefully choreographed spectacle. The morning usually began with venations, or beast hunts, where exotic animals from across the empire like elephants, bears, and leopards were pitted against armed hunters. Midday was reserved for the public execution of criminals, often carried out in gruesome, theatrical ways. But the main event, the one everyone waited for, was the gladiator combat in the afternoon. These men were divided into different classes, such as the Murmillo with his heavy shield and helmet, or the Retiarius, who fought with only a net and a trident. One of the biggest myths fueled by Hollywood is that every fight ended in death. In reality, gladiators were expensive assets to house, feed, and train. Killing them off in every match would be a massive financial loss for the lanista. Historians believe that only about 1 in 10 fights ended in a fatality. Most matches were decided by a referee, and if a gladiator fought bravely, he was often spared even if he lost. The famous thumbs down gesture, or pollice verso, is also misunderstood. Experts believe the signals for life and death were much more complex than what we see in movies. If a gladiator survived long enough and won enough battles, he could earn something more valuable than gold, a rudis or a wooden sword. This symbolized his honorable discharge and his freedom. These veteran gladiators often became celebrities, with their names carved into walls and their likenesses painted on pottery. However, for every success story, thousands of others died in the dust, forgotten by history. The games eventually declined as the Roman Empire became Christianized and faced economic struggles, with the last recorded gladiator fight taking place in the 5th century. The Colosseum stands today as a haunting reminder of a civilization that reached the heights of architectural genius while sinking to the depths of human cruelty. It was a place where life was cheap, but courage was everything. If you found this true story of the gladiators fascinating, please hit the like button and let us know in the comments. Which gladiator type would you have chosen to be? Don't forget to share this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest historical mysteries. Thanks for watching.